Imagine a world where IT runs itself. It's not just a catchy tagline. It's a vision rooted in the daily challenges every IT team faces. Sudden downtimes, days hijacked by manual maintenance and repetitive tasks, having to drop everything just to deal with last-minute or urgent issues. It all started when we at Atera asked ourselves in 2022, what if the routine tasks that takes up so much of our time could be handled by AI that learns, adapts, and acts? At Atera, we no longer just about tools that help IT pros. We're talking about AI agents that act on their behalf. Think of an AI agent like a digital worker. You give them an input, like a task or a problem, and from there, they will take over. First, the agent thinks, it creates a plan based on what it knows and what you ask for. Then it acts, activating the right tool or triggering another agent if needed. But it doesn't stop there. It observes the outcome, and if something is off or needed more work, it adapts and iterates until it gets it right. In the end, it delivers a complete solution, not just a text or a suggestion. If you're familiar with Atera, you probably already know our first AI agent, AI Copilot. It's an assistant built to support technicians in their day-to-day work. From generating tickets, remote session summaries, to real-time troubleshooting, script suggestions, instant knowledge-based articles, and more. It's all about making IT faster, easier, and more accurate. But what we are launching today is the next stage of AI agents. And it's what we believe is the real game changer, our patented autonomous IT Autopilot. What is autonomous IT? Autonomous IT is where this agent detects and resolves incident without waiting to human input. It doesn't stop at a resolution. Building predictive support leverages historical patterns and real-time telemetry to proactively prevent disruptions before they even surface. These agents also improve constantly. Like a human technician, every action it takes feeds into its growth. It's not static, rule-based automations, but dynamic, evolving intelligence. The autonomy cannot exist without security and trust. IT Autopilot is secured by design, every action tracked and logged, every process is compliant, and only risk-free actions are executed by default. IT Autopilot is about redefining what IT teams can do. It's about freeing teams from repetitive tasks, allowing them to focus on strategic work. It helps organizations scale without scaling headcount. In a world that is only getting more complex, it makes things feel easier. Because the truth is, working in IT has never been more complex. The environments, the talent crunch, the business needs, the threat landscape, traditional technology no longer meets IT needs. That's why Atera has spent the last few years investing in autonomous IT. We're launching IT Autopilot because it's ready, but more than that, we believe it's needed. Now, the big question is no longer if it's possible, it's how you can start using it. And that's exactly what we'll show you next. IT Autopilot, our patented technology, is designed to operate across multiple communication channels, from email to WhatsApp to work applications, so it fits right into the workflow organizations already use. In this first example, I'll show you how Autopilot resolves a very common issue, a jammed print spooler. And yes, I jam it on purpose. This resolution happened entirely through Microsoft Teams, completely hands-free, no human intervention at all. You've probably seen this ticket before. Printer isn't printing. It's vague, and solving it usually takes a while. First, it sits in the queue. That alone can take hours. Then, the back and forth with the end user, trying to figure out what the real issue is. It makes for long SLAs. With Autopilot, the process starts instantly, while the user is still online and available. The agent runs tests, connect across environments, from the device to the web, and once it identifies the problem, it fixes it on the spot. Then, it validates the fix to make sure everything is back to normal. As you can see here, the spooler is now running smoothly. This is just one of 1,000 common problems Autopilot can solve autonomously. But what happens when it runs into something more complicated? The next two use cases I'm going to show you relate to our escalation mechanism. If it runs into something it doesn't know how to solve, or something it's not allowed to handle, it hands it off to a human technician. In the first use case, an HR manager needs to offboard an employee. That task we've specially blocked Autopilot from doing. The request comes in through Slack, and now I'll show you what it looks like from the technician side. When I open Copilot, I see a smart ticket waiting for me. This ticket was created by Autopilot, and it already includes all the relevant information along with suggested actions I can take with a single click. One of those actions, disable Azure AD account, is built-in Autopilot capability. Like I mentioned earlier, it connects to everything. But offboard user is a custom script we've built specially for my company, extending the Autopilot capabilities with customizations. You can create all kinds of custom functions like that and connect them to the system. Sometimes Autopilot isn't restricted from solving an issue, it just doesn't know how yet. Many IT problems are fairly standard, but others specific to your environment. Certain apps, internal servers, custom workflows that Autopilot doesn't recognize out of the box. In those cases, when Autopilot escalates to a technician, it's not just handing off the ticket. It's also learning. It watches what the technician does, what actions are taken, what tools are used, what tests are run. And the next time the user has the same issue, the Autopilot won't have to escalate it, because it knows how to solve it. And just to clarify, this learning process isn't limited to Autopilot customers. Even if you're just using AI Copilot and your tickets are handled only by human technicians, our backend AI agents are still learning how your team works to improve. Which brings me to the AI Center. We can see that the system has noticed we solved the same issue manually 11 times. Based on that, it already generated a script for us. All we have to do is to review it, make any edit we want, and approve. The AI Center works in the same way with documentation, by the way. If the AI identified a gap with our knowledge base article, it can suggest creating one automatically. We can also decide whether the Autopilot should run the script autonomously moving forward, or still escalate to a technician. In this case, I'm going to give it permission to run on itself. Now let's take a look what happens next time the user runs into this issue. The user is looking for invoices, but the shared drive isn't showing up. As you can see, on the left, I only have access to drive C. Autopilot checks if I should have access, then install the missing drive using a script it learned earlier. Once it's done, I confirm that the drive is visible. That feedback loop helps Autopilot continue to learn and improve. And you know that annoying thing when a user has an issue, but by the time you see the ticket, it already fixed itself? And it happens again and again, so they stop opening tickets and just ping you directly? Yeah, say goodbye to that too. Up until now, we've looked at cases where Autopilot responds to issues that the end user reports. But Atera is used to resolve millions of tickets around the world. And what we see are a lot of recurring issues and common patterns, and we used it to teach the AI to get ahead of a problem. We call this -SLA. That means that AI recognizes a problem before the ticket is even opened, and start fixing it right away. Autopilot can currently eliminate 40% of IT teams' workload according to our data. But in some cases, it can solve 100% of the really annoying and repetitive issues, like password resets. One IT manager told me that his company's Monday were a disaster. everybody would come back from the weekend forgetting their passwords. And flute support would reset requests. Eventually, they got so fed up, they just told employees to stick their password to their monitors using post-it notes. No one wants that. With Autopilot, it's much simpler and more secure. As you can see, Autopilot noticed 3 failed logging attempts and jump into actions right away. The user gets an email letting them know a password reset is on the way via SMS. Because not everyone trusts SMS messages without an heads up. They just got reset link via SMS with a temporary password. We chose SMS here because it supports 2FA. Behind the scenes, Autopilot is quietly opening and closing a ticket, so everything stays documented in your system. This one is still in development. There are a lot of capabilities we've built into Autopilot, so think of this as a sneak peek. One of the challenges technicians face today is so many issues happen in a browser. Gmail, Google Docs, SharePoint, and so on. And when those issues live in the browser, you can't just solve it using script. Autopilot gets access to the browser. Now, through the portal, the end user needs help finding an email. Autopilot asks for permission to help the user. The AI scans the screen using computer vision, highlights what's clickable, take a screenshot, and then literally instruct the computer on what to click. As you can see, it even moves the mouse. It finds the missing email sitting in the spam folder, it marks it as not spam, and releases it into the inbox. Once that's done, it updates the users through the portal and let them know the issue is resolved. Now, we're demoing it with Gmail, but this functionality also works in more complex environments, like Mimecast, Spam Titan, and Iron Scales, where email flow issues can really disrupt work. So, to recap, what is IT Autopilot? It's an AI agent capable of autonomous resolution. It knows to escalate to a technician if it hits a permission or knowledge barrier, and it improves itself over time. It optimizes workflows and it helps guide both technicians and organizations with actionable insights. And this is just the beginning. I really believe we are looking at a complete revolution of how IT gets done. And I'm genuinely excited for the day we can share what the next generation of IT Autopilot will look like. I know this is probably giving you a lot to think about, which is perfect timing, because up next is the AMA with Gil and myself.